Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Karmendriyani sanyamya,
ya aste manasa smaran,
ya aste manasa smaran,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
yastvindriyani manasa,
yastvindriyani manasa,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
karmendriyai karmayogam,
Karmendriyai karmayogam,
asakta savishishyate,
asakta savishishyate,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
karmajayo hyakarmanaha,
sharirayatra pichate,
sharirayatra pichate,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
tadartham karma kaunteya,
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
mukta sangha samachara,
मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर
saha yajñah प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
येषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
येषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we were seeing about this word Niyama. Niyama means discipline. Now, as I was telling you, this word can be split into two, Ni and Yama. So Yama is the main word and Ni is a further addition, it's a prefix. So the moment we add the word Ni, it intensifies the meaning. In spirituality, we always focus on adding value to any experience. Now I gave you the three aspects from the sadhana point of view of the prefix Ni. How it means intensity, how it means quality, how it means depth. So basically, what is that prefix doing? It is adding further value to the word Yama. So the sadhana for us to practice is to go on increasing our value of our experiences. The very process of spiritual development is nothing but increasing our value, the value of our personality. When you consider yourself as the physical body, then it's a very limited value you're placing on yourself. Because the physical body has various limitations. It is subject to various changes. Childhood, youth, adulthood, old age, birth, death, all these things happen to the physical body. That is the value. Now when you consider yourself as the emotions, I'm leaving out pranas here. So when you consider yourself as the emotions, as the mind, then you're placing a further higher value on yourself, but still limited only. Emotions are more subtle. An emotional experience is always more subtle than a mere physical experience. It is more satisfying, long-lasting. So in terms of subtlety, in terms of quality, the value has increased. But it is still limited because emotions keep on fluctuating. So when you identify yourself fully with the emotions, then you will also fluctuate. You will go through the various ups and downs of life. Then when you place your identification, that is when you identify with your thoughts, ideologies, then your value has increased further. You're able to rise beyond your personal emotions and you're able to think of some higher ideal in life, something beyond your selfish and self-centered interests. Now your value has increased, but that is also limited. Because when we talk of ideals of life, by their very nature, they are finite. It is no doubt more subtle than the physical body or the personal emotions, but it is not the subtlest. So you've increased your value, but still functioning in the realm of the finite. Then, when you start focusing on the infinite within you, as you get established in the infinite consciousness, you're actually increasing your value also to the infinite. When you become a sthita prajna, which means fully established in the infinite, then your value has become infinite. So as sadhaks, you should always focus on increasing your personal value. That is why I spent quite a bit of time on this prefix ni. All the things like quality, depth, intensity, everything is to only increase the value. So it is not only increasing your personal value, then increasing the value of each and every experience which you go through. See, what you need to understand is that your life is defined by your experiences only. If you take away your experiences, there is no life. So your life, that is the quality of your life, depends upon the quality of your experiences. The value of your life depends upon the value of your experiences. So when you live your life, that is when you go through your experiences in a mechanical way, then you are not really increasing the value of your experiences. When you go through your experiences in a stressful way, it is better than being mechanical, but still, again, it is very limited, because ultimately it's not going to give you that peace, that happiness. If you go through all your experiences in a lazy way, then your whole life will become lazy. That is a value which you are setting for your life. Now, what the great yogis are saying is that you should set the infinite value for your experiences. First, the infinite value to yourself, to your personality, and then to the world which you are interacting with. Every experience is divine. When you see each and every experience as a part of divinity, then the value increases tremendously. Again, there is a gradation. Initially, when you have identified with your body more, then you will approach life in a physical way. When you have identified with your emotions, you will approach your life in an emotional way. When you identify with your ideals, thoughts, you will go through your life in that particular way. But when you identify yourself with the infinite, then you will start seeing your entire life as nothing but a manifestation of the infinite. Your whole life becomes divine. It is all in your perception only. So this is a very important aspect of the spiritual sadhana, to increase the value. So as far as the sadhana application is concerned, what should you focus on right now? Your present experience. Because it is experience by experience that you are living your life. So right now, what is your present experience? You're watching this, you're hearing this ancient wisdom, the yogic approach. Now the mind will try to wander here and there. All these things are going to be there. Even as these principles are being given, it's not that you are expected to follow all this instantly or within a day or two. It's not possible. It's a gradual process of absorption and growth. But consciously, you should make this attempt of bringing the mind to the present so that you can add value to this particular experience. The difficulty there is the mind will run everywhere and you will not even be aware of that. The mind will carry you along, carry your awareness along. So initially, when you start off with your sadhana, you will find that your awareness level is very less. Your mind will take you somewhere and a big tour it will take you to, and then after that suddenly you will realize, I've lost all my concentration. It's okay. Now you come back, pull your mind back. But as you keep progressing in your sadhana, the empowerment programs help out in this factor only, in building this quality. So what happens slowly is that your awareness about your own mind increases tremendously. So earlier when your mind was playing tricks, when it was taking you away, you were not aware. But now you will start becoming aware. Halfway through that distraction itself, you will be able to hold the mind and again bring it back. When you keep on practicing, a day would come where before your mind goes itself, your awareness will be fully there. So your mind will not go anywhere without your permission. That is a very, very advanced stage in spirituality. A yogi experiences that at a particular stage of his or her growth, wherein the mind does not run anywhere without his or her permission. It's a very powerful state. So when you achieve that, then you have increased the value of that experience which you're going through tremendously. Because ultimately, who is experiencing? It is your mind only. The mind is the instrument through which you are experiencing. Your soul is only experiencing, but the mind, relatively speaking, it is a mind which experiences. So when the mind itself is not under your control, the mind is not available to you, then how can you experience anything fully? So in the Shastras, in the Puranas and all that, they have given various grades of heaven. A grade, B grade, C grade, What is this heaven? Heaven is nothing but an experience of enjoyment. When you enjoy, when you feel happy, you're going through the experience of heaven. You don't need to necessarily equate heaven or hell to some geographical place. It is right there within you. So as you advance in spirituality, when you practice this, the sadhana of the prefix ni, that is increasing the quality, intensity, depth and all that, the value of your life will keep on increasing because the value of your experiences will increase. You will go through each and every experience in a very, very deep way. You will enjoy that fully. You will move from one state of heaven to another state of heaven, that is a higher grade of heaven. It will keep on increasing. And beyond all these heavens, they say, lies the infinite dimension, which is the dimension of God or divinity. So once you come to that state, thereafter, your whole life becomes divine, because each and every experience of yours becomes divine. This is the way you can practicalize what is being given in our scriptures, in the Vedas and the Upanishads and all the scriptures. It's not restricted to any particular religion or anything. Anywhere in the world, when a person learns these truths of life and when he or she awakens the higher consciousness from within, then the whole life changes. So in the Puranic stories, there are many interesting characters. Like one such person was Prahlada. His father was a demon, highly egoistic. Demon means what? Highly egoistic. His father did a lot of tapas, Hiranyakashipu, and he acquired a lot of powers. And then he told everyone, now I am only God, you should not worship any other God, all of you should worship me. Now this is the ego. The focus comes on that I, Now Prahlada was a very sattvic boy, because right when he was in his womb of his mother, he got the higher initiation from the great sage Narada. Narada was actually giving this ancient wisdom to his mother, and his mother slept off. But the embryo in the womb received that energy. Narada initiated Prahlada right when he was in the embryo stage. So imagine, when the boy came out, he was so divine, so sattvic. And so there was naturally a clash between Prahlada and his father Hiranyakashipu, because Hiranyakashipu was saying, I am only God, you should now worship me. Now Prahlada was trying to put some sense into his father's mind. He said, Sri Hari is God. Sri Hari is another word, another name for that infinite. So his father tortured him. He tied him. He asked his guards to beat him up, to whip him. They even tried to give him a cup of poison. They put some poison in the milk and he was given. He was taken and thrown. He was tied and thrown into the ocean. Of course, everywhere an unseen power, the higher power, protected him, and he came back more strong. Now, I'm not getting into the full story now, Probably in some other context we will do that. But there is one very interesting dialogue between Prahlada and his father. So his father asks Prahlada, what do you think of yourself? Are you thinking that you are so great? He said, no, I never said I am great. It is God who is great. It is Lord Vishnu. And to which his father asked him, so are you saying you are the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu? Prahlada said, no, I am not the greatest devotee. Then who is the greatest devotee of Vishnu? Because he was against Vishnu, so he wanted to kill all the devotees of Vishnu. He said, who is the greatest devotee of Vishnu? Can you tell me? To which Prahlada said, yes. It's very simple. You are the greatest devotee of Vishnu. He told Hiranyakashipu, And Hiranyakashipu became very, very angry. He said, what do you mean? I am the greatest devotee of Vishnu. How dare you say that? He said, no, it's factually true. Okay, you better prove it. If you don't prove it, I'll punish you right now. He said, I can prove it to you. What is the definition of devotee of Vishnu? Vishnu means God. And who is a devotee of God? One who constantly thinks of God. Such a person is called a devotee of God, right? Now, I think about Lord Vishnu every now and then. I keep meditating and all that. Whereas you are saying that you are hating Lord Vishnu, but 24/7 you are hating Vishnu, but you are thinking about him. You are thinking about God. So who is the greater devotee? Me or you? It is you. And I want to follow your footsteps. I also want to think of God 24/7. My path may be love, your path may be hatred, but you have really gone very deep in that. And you're constantly thinking about God, God, God. You're saying I'm hating God, but in that process, God is drawing you towards Him. Lord Vishnu is slowly taking away all your sins. Now Hiranyakashipu was stunned. Actually, the story is that Hiranyakashipu and his brother Hiranyaksha, they were demons in that birth. But in the previous birth, they were the gatekeepers of Sri Vaikunta, where Vishnu was abiding. And due to some ego, they didn't allow the Sanat Kumaras, who were great yogis, inside. And so they cursed the guards, due to which they had taken that birth. 3 births, they had to go through, where they were hating Lord Vishnu in order to get back. It's a very, very interesting episode. So, to everyone, Hiranyakashipu was a very negative person. He was asking everyone to worship him. He was saying this, he was a demon. But to Prahlada, he was the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. His mind was so pure that he projected that on Hiranyakashipu also. Very, very interesting. So when Lord Vishnu took the avatara of Narasimha, half lion and half man, and when he killed Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada didn't see it as killing. He didn't see it as, oh, I'm losing my father. Not in that sense. He said, oh, how fortunate my father is that he had the privilege to be killed by Lord Vishnu, delivered by Lord Vishnu. All his sins are being washed away. So that was Prahlada's experience. When he was given the milk with poison, the moment he saw that, he said, oh, this is the milky ocean where my Vishnu resides. In every experience, he was seeing divinity, he was experiencing divinity. That is a very, very powerful, high state of a yogi. You cannot artificially emulate that. See, it's not about showing off your devotion. Some people try that, When these kinds of principles are given, it is meant to inspire you so that you can start doing your sadhana properly. Instead, some people, again, the ego is only waiting, it wants to trade on any little tapas you do. So the ego takes over and you may start imitating all this. So this is also God, that is also, they only talk about it. It is not what you say verbally that matters. In every breath I am saying Shivoham, Shivoham. Some people claim all this. A person who is doing that will not claim anything. He or she will be a very, very simple person. So that is what will happen to your life when you start practicing the sadhana of Ni, the prefix Ni. Tremendous value to yourself and tremendous value to your life. It'll start from the lowest level and the value will go on increasing. Not forcefully, not artificially, but a natural growth. The sadhana, every day when you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, that promotes the natural growth, not in an artificial way. So, Niyama. When we saw the word Yama, I gave you the two dimensions, One is discipline and the other is voluntary discipline. Both are very important aspects. So, if you don't have any discipline in life, last week I explained to you licentiousness and freedom, that's a very, very important point for you to note and understand. A life without discipline will get wasted. All your energies will get wasted. If you want to conserve your energy, you need to lead a disciplined life. When you lead an indulgent life, which means no control over yourself, then all your energies will get dissipated. If you frustrate yourself, if you suppress yourself, also that will not work. That will cause a lot of frustration within. Then you will not be able to function effectively. So, Yama, discipline, means being in the middle, knowing how much to contact and when you should withdraw, knowing your limits. So this was very beautifully demonstrated in Ramayana. When Lakshmana went out, he drew a circle around the hermitage where Rama and Sita were living in the forest. And he told Sita, come what may, you don't cross that line. It's called Lakshman Rekha, no? Don't cross that line, because when he drew that line, he had put all the energy, power of his tapas there. So no harm could come to Sita. So when Ravana came, he came in the disguise of a sannyasi and asked for alms. And when Sita stood inside that line and tried to give, Ravana said, that is not right. You come out and give. And Sita trusted, because when she saw him as a sannyasi, she thought he is a great saint. So she crossed the line. The moment she crossed the line, she became the captive of the 10-headed demon, Rakshasa, Ravana. The 10 heads are the 10 sense organs. It's an internal sadhana which is being depicted through the Ramayana. See, everybody knows only Valmiki Ramayana, but there is another Ramayana called Adhyatma Ramayana, written by Vedavyasa. That is the real original Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana was more given out in a for the common person, with an extensive incidents and all that, in a more human way. He tried to capture the human nature of Lord Rama, who was actually an avatar of Lord Vishnu. So many people criticize, no? Oh, why did Lord Rama ask Sita to do the enter the fire? Or why did Lord Rama ask Sita to go to the forest when she, just by hearing a doob? Actually, it's not like that. The answers to all that are given in the Adhyatma Ramayana, which was written by Vyasa. The difference between Valmiki Ramayana and Adhyatma Ramayana is, Adhyatma Ramayana captures the entire Ramayana as a manifestation of the infinite. In the Valmiki Ramayana, he has captured the Ramayana from the human point of view, the human aspects. He has not explained anything. Some people have asked these questions. When we get time, I will answer that also, because that requires a more detailed explanation, It's all there. See, if you see it with a very narrow perspective, things may not be perfect. You may find a lot of faults. But when you see it from the deeper perspective, every aspect of Ramayana is so powerful. So, as far as this Lakshman Rekha is concerned, what is that Lakshman Rekha for you? It is the Niyama, the discipline which you put for yourself. See, Sita agreed. When Lakshmana said, don't go out of this, she agreed to that. That's the voluntary element. So, voluntarily leading a disciplined life will keep you protected. But the moment she crossed the line, she became the captive of Ravana. Ravana represents the ego within you. The 10 heads of Ravana represents the 10 sense organs. You will become a captive of your own senses. So a great yogi said, you make your discipline, then that discipline will make you. It's a beautiful statement. You make your discipline, then the discipline will make you. So if you want to achieve anything, see in life, the final word is saha vishishyate. Vishishyate means he excels, one who is an achiever. So how do you achieve anything in life? By following Niyama, discipline. And when will you follow something fully? Only when you take it up voluntarily. This is a simple psychology, human psychology. Why is it that in spirituality they don't force anything? The reason is, you will not practice something with your full heart, you will not practice something consistently unless and until you get convinced about that. See, all these scriptures are in the form of question and answers only. Have you noticed that? Arjuna asks a question, Krishna answers. You go to the Upanishads, the student asks a question, the master gives. The master does not call the student and start giving him or her advice. Advice is never given. Advice is always taken. If you don't take advice from a master, master will keep quiet. He will never interfere with your karmas. When a student is so much willing to learn and transform his or her life, naturally they will ask for advice from the master. Then the master immediately responds. So why is it in the form of question and answer? Because if the master starts giving out these principles forcefully to a student, then that will not be long lasting. The psychology of the human mind is that whenever it is forced to do something, it will rebel at some point of time. If not immediately, it will happen later on. But whenever you understand the value of something, and then with that inspiration when you take it up and function, now your mind will get convinced. You will be able to consistently follow that. So that is why, I think in the last discourse also it was mentioned, don't follow anything because Yogishri is saying. Don't follow anything because the Bhagavad Gita is saying. That is a wrong approach. It will be very short-lived. What we mean by wrong approach is, today if you follow something blindly just because Yogishri is saying, now tomorrow somebody else can come and tell you something and your mind will get confused because you have not understood the logic of what you're doing. So that is why it is always in the form of question and answer, seeking and giving. So the student seeks, understands the value, absorbs the energy, and understands the using his or her intellect, and fully is convinced. Any higher principle can transform your life provided you practice it consistently. How do you practice something consistently? It is by applying this principle of Yama, voluntary discipline. So when is it that you take up something voluntarily? It's very interesting. There are two reasons why you may take up something voluntarily. The first reason is something gives you pleasure immediately. Therefore, you may pick it up voluntarily. Like for example, why is it that a person takes drugs? Because it gives him instant pleasure. The problem comes later on. All that clarity he does not have. So he immediately picks up the drugs. But when the real problem starts, when the drug starts causing harm to him, he is unable to leave the drug when he wants because he has become an addict. But the psychology of why you do something voluntarily is to be studied. Then only you will understand your own mind. So generally speaking, when you like something, you pick it up without anybody telling you. Now that approach is actually a very shallow approach, because what you like may not be good for you. Most of the things which we like are actually harmful, because whatever is good for us in general does not give immediate pleasure. So has anyone told you to be lazy, for example? Nobody needs to tell you. You will voluntarily be lazy. Why? Because that gives you an immediate pleasure. When it comes to exercises, you need someone has to tell you, then you need to understand the value of it, and then you have to build the discipline. Why? Because it doesn't give the immediate pleasure. So one reason for the mind doing things voluntarily is the immediate pleasure which a discipline gives or any action gives. The other reason why you may do something voluntarily is not because you like it or because it gives you immediate pleasure. It may give immediate pleasure or it may give immediate pain also. But you have the depth, and with that depth in perception, you very, very clearly analyze, you have the clarity and see what are the things which are good for me, which are beneficial for me. And once you get convinced by that, then you pick them up and you start practicing them. For example, exercising. Why is it that one person is lazy and another person exercises? Because this person goes by the immediate impulse, whereas the second person sees what is the benefit which I get out of this. Which will benefit me more in the long run, being lazy or exercising? The answer is exercising. Therefore, he picks up the action of performing the exercise. So these are the two reasons why you take up something voluntarily. Now, when it comes to discipline, does discipline give you immediate pleasure? No. Discipline gives you immediate pain. Any kind of discipline is a habit which you need to build. Whereas indiscipline gives you immediate pleasure. But what will give you benefit in the long run? It is a disciplined life, not an indisciplined life. So if you have no control over the mind, you will voluntarily take up an indisciplined lifestyle. If you have the depth, if you have the clarity, if you are more responsible, then you will voluntarily take up Niyama, discipline. That is the choice which has been given to you. So throughout the Bhagavad Gita, that is what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. It's very easy to give up your duty here and go away. That will give you immediate pleasure, but later on you will be regretting it. It's difficult to stand here, face the challenge and win. But if you take that path voluntarily, then you will follow it till the end. You will follow it till that path starts giving you the benefits. So the moment we talk of taking up a discipline voluntarily, there are many implications. Number one, it means you have to overcome your impulsiveness. Whatever you feel, some people are so impulsive. Whatever they feel at that moment, they do. Like one man, he told me long back, he said, sir, I never think. I first act, then only I think. He was telling me as if it's a great principle which he is following. That is nothing but impulsive nature. Being impulsive means you don't see the consequences of your actions. You just go merely by your likes or dislikes. Later on in this chapter, he will be talking about this likes and dislikes, how when you act upon them, how detrimental they can be All that we'll be seeing in detail. I'm just building this here. Many of the principles which are being given now will further be expanded as we go deeper into this chapter. So number one, if you want to follow Niyama, that is voluntary discipline, you need to overcome your impulsive nature. Today, even relationships are being formed based on impulses. Oh, I like this person. Does that mean that you have to get into a relationship with that person? It may be one particular quality or something which you may have liked, but that completely clouds the person's mind. It creates an illusion. Then thereafter, the person loses the capacity to become objective there. So they enter into a relationship and then later on they suffer. I've seen this happen in many cases. What is the basis with which you are picking up things? Whether it is with respect to objects of the world, inanimate objects, or whether it is your actions, habits, or whether it is relationships. What is the criteria? Just impulses. An impulse does not have any direction or it's not having any long-term vision. So if you want to practice this, number one, you need to overcome this impulsive nature of yours. So take it up as a sadhana. Just do some self-observation throughout this week. Just look at yourself as you are functioning in life. Even if you do it a few times this week, that will bring in so much of awareness. What is prompting me to do so many, to do all this, to react this way, to pick up this, it will usually be impulse. There is no thinking whether this will help me in the long run or not. There is nothing like that. It's a highly short-sighted living. Very, very dangerous. Some people, they drink and then they drive. How dangerous it is. Even though the rules have been put that drunken driving is a legal offense, in spite of that, some people, they drink and drive. What is driving them to do that? What a dangerous situation it is. In 1 second, your entire life can go. Yet they do it. Why? Impulse. This is number one. Number two, you need to develop the clarity of what is good for me in the long run. This ancient wisdom gives you that clarity. Till you build that clarity, you automatically, you will take the guidance of the higher intellect. The guru is at a higher level, so he'll be able to think from all angles objectively. So a student take guidance from the guru. But ultimately, it's your clarity. See, even to understand what the guru is saying, you require clarity. So that's why I'm saying a lot of emphasis is should be laid on developing your personal clarity. What will be beneficial for me in the long run? So when you begin to understand that, then voluntarily you will start picking up those things in life which will give you long-term benefits, long-term happiness. That is called Niyama. Then you are following this sadhana of Niyama. Voluntarily picking up things which will give you long-term benefit. So initially you may not like it. Like when you start your exercises, it may not be so pleasurable. First day when you have to overcome your laziness, get up and still feel groggy, but then you do your exercise. It will be like that. But when you keep on practicing a discipline, a time would come where you will start enjoying it. This is the third aspect. First is overcoming impulsiveness. Second is building that clarity and depth to see what will give me long-term benefit and then taking it up voluntarily. Third is continuing to be in that discipline till you start enjoying it. See, when you act on an impulse, that gives you an immediate enjoyment. Now, when you act on Niyama, that may not give you immediate enjoyment. But when you keep on practicing that, after a while, the same habit or same object will start giving you a lot of happiness. Example again, exercise. When you keep on exercising for a while, after a few weeks, few months, you will start enjoying it. So once you start liking it, enjoying it, then you will get permanently established in that good habit. Whatever be that niyama, So till then, you should not leave it. So remember, freedom is not doing whatever you like. That is not freedom. Real freedom is in liking whatever you are doing. That is the freedom, that capacity to train your mind and conform it to your duties of life. So it's not that a yogi is very miserable and he's doing his duties as a burden and all that. No. For him, he has trained his mind to do his duties with so much of enjoyment. That is what was demonstrated by Lord Krishna. He took up a great responsibility in this world, in that world war. He was a charioteer of Arjuna, which is a very dangerous work, because the arrows of the opponents will first have to pass through the charioteer and then only go to the warrior. He took that responsibility. He was a mastermind. All the strategy, everything, he was the one who devised. But in spite of all that, we always find Krishna very light-hearted, very cheerful. So these two factors, one is highly responsible and on the other hand very light-hearted and cheerful. That combination is what this ancient wisdom is all about. So if you practice the sadhana of niyama, voluntary discipline, it will lead you to that wonderful state. You will, number one, overcome all your impulsiveness. The moment you overcome your impulsive nature, that is acting upon your impulsive nature. Having impulses is something which is natural. But I'm talking about acting on impulses. So you will overcome that. The moment you do that, you're protecting yourself from so many dangers. The second is you develop tremendous depth and clarity to be able to understand what is good for you, what is beneficial for you in the long run. And you act upon that. You act upon your clarity rather than your impulse. And when you keep practicing that, a time would come where you will start liking whatever discipline you're doing. You will start loving it so much. The so-called sattvic life will no longer be a burden for you. Waking up early in the morning will be so enjoyable. It will make you so fresh. Initially, it may not. Doing the kriyas, doing yoga, all these things will become so enjoyable for you. Every sattvic discipline should be practiced to that extent where your mind starts enjoying it, liking it, loving it. Once you start loving whatever you're doing, thereafter there is no danger of you falling. See, it is only when you start enjoying and loving your discipline we can say that you are established in your discipline. Till then, there is always a danger of falling. Somebody may come and tell you something, immediately that will influence your mind. You will get out of your discipline. Some challenge may come in life, again you will compromise. You will get out of your discipline. It could be anything. The ego is just waiting to influence the mind to come out of the Niyama. But once the mind starts enjoying the Niyama, thereafter, come what may, it will continue to follow the discipline, because the natural nature of the mind is to run towards happiness, whatever it gives it enjoyment. This is the training of the mind which a yogi does. So when you do whatever you like, you are a bhogi. Bhogi means one who is into enjoyment, indulgent. In this context, we are defining that way. So whenever you follow the mind takes you wherever it wants, just an impulse, you act upon your impulses. That is being a bhogi. But when you learn to like, when you train your mind to like whatever you're doing, then you become a yogi. So indiscipline takes away all your energy, because when you are a bhogi, now when you just merely act on your impulses, you will start becoming very, very tired in life. All your energies will get depleted. You will become a very weak person. You will become so dependent on that particular object or that particular person that your entire happiness will now depend on that person's behavior thereafter. Even the thought of the relationship breaking, or even the thought that that person may not react this way, in a way in which you want, can completely upset you. You will start crying immediately. All those are symptoms that you are very, very deeply addicted there. You have acted on your impulse and you have lost all your powers. Whereas this path of yoga, which is also functioning in the world only. Yogi is not going to go and sit somewhere and go against life. No, he is going to be in the thick and thin of work. He will do everything which others are doing, but he will follow this principle of Niyama. Slowly, slowly, he is in the process of training his mind to like whatever he is doing. So once you train your mind that way, your whole life becomes very enjoyable, irrespective of the immediate pleasure or pain which an experience can give you. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, if your mind is not under your control, it may either be in a good mood or it may be in a bad mood. You have no choice there. Whereas for a yogi, when he wakes up, he chooses. He starts choosing his moods. And the moment you start choosing your mood, why would you ever choose a bad mood? You will not. So happiness itself is a choice. A yogi keeps exercising the choice every moment. So every moment of his life, he enjoys tremendously. That was the life of Lord Krishna, a personification of cheer and happiness. Krishna means happiness. Krishna means cheer. He represents cheer. Krishna represents mirth, fun, frolic. So if you don't follow this principle of Niyama in life, you may have the best of things, best of comforts, wonderful life externally, but internally you will be highly stressed, you will be miserable after a while. That initial pleasure, once that goes away, thereafter the whole life becomes miserable, because you are leading a dependent life. You are dependent on others for your happiness. Whereas when you follow the Niyama in life, now the life becomes so meaningful. That is when you can actually become a great achiever. That's why he aptly uses the word Vishishyate. So if you take any achiever in any field, with respect to that field, he or she would have followed this principle of Niyama. There would have been certain disciplines which that person would have followed. Without that, you can't see anyone succeeding in the long run. Let it be any field, whether it's sports or business or arts, music, dance, anything. More so in spirituality. So you think about this, you take it up as a homework. See, today I have given you more deep principles. Last week itself was very deep. That's what many of you felt. But this week I've increased the depth more. So when you reflect on these principles, now it'll be like a mirror for you. You'll start understanding how your own mind is functioning. So you will find that there are so many forces acting within you. On one hand, your impulses, the mental impulses, and the impulses are based on whether something will give you immediate pleasure or immediate pain, not based on whether something is good for you in the long run or something is harmful for you in the long run. So this is one force, the impulse. The other force is clarity. In every Sunday, why are so many principles being given from the ancient wisdom? To improve your clarity, to strengthen that aspect of you. So this will be another force. So whenever there is an impulse in you, now it'll be like a warning signal for you. You will immediately pause. You will ask, is this going to give me long-term benefits or not? You will bring in the clarity aspect. If yes, only you will do it. I'm not saying you should pick up things which give you immediate pain all the time. No. Irrespective of whether something will give you immediate pleasure or pain, you should analyze what will give me long-term happiness. What will benefit me? So you will find that force is also within you. And what is interesting is, when you act according to your impulse, you're doing whatever you're liking. Whereas when you act according to the principles of Niyama, you are training your mind to like whatever you do. Now it's a very powerful practice, because once you train your mind that way, you can be happy anywhere, under any circumstance. See the power of a yogi. You can take away anything from a yogi, but you can never take away his smile. You can never take away his happiness. You put him in the best of circumstances, he'll be happy. You put him in the worst of circumstances, he'll still be happy. He may externally fight those challenges. That is different. Those are all, at the action level, functional level. But internally, he will be calm, composed, in a state of permanent happiness. So if you also want to get to that level, this is the starting point. Follow Niyama in your life. How will you follow Niyama? Voluntary discipline. By looking at the various forces which are acting within you. So here I have given two forces. One is the impulse, the other is clarity. Through sadhana, we are trying to awaken this clarity element from within. Okay, so you think about this, do this sadhana for this week. Observe the forces within you. It will give you a tremendous understanding of what is happening within you. And then in the subsequent weeks, we'll go into more depth. We'll see the other dimensions of Niyama, which will be very, very useful to you. So before the meditation, we'll take up one question. This question has been asked by S. Raj. Hari Om Yogishri, thank you for a powerful and hard-hitting session as always. That's so true. Every session I say, we had a powerful session. Even today, I'll be saying the same thing because that's what is true, no? Every session is powerful. And another sadhak, Shiva, Krishnan from US, he has mentioned, in his points that Yogishri, you say that every session is very powerful, but nowadays I'm finding every word is very powerful, which means it's a very positive sign. It means you're really started absorbing the yogic approach. So each session is powerful and hard-hitting than the previous. One question regarding putting in all efforts without expecting recognition. How does one deal with someone else taking away all the credit for your idea, hard work and execution, particularly in the corporate scenario? This question has also been asked by a few others in a different way. So I'm clubbing all those questions together and I'll give you the answer. It's a very practical question. So in Karma Yoga, we say don't look for recognition and all that. Just provide quality work. But how do you deal with a situation where somebody else takes the credit for your work? See, when it is said, don't focus on the results. Don't focus your energies on getting a recognition and all that. Just focus on producing quality work. That is a discipline to be practiced, a mental discipline to be practiced when you're in the action. But this doesn't mean that you be a loser in life. See, the idea of asking you to practice that discipline is so that you don't fritter away your energies. When you're acting, you should be fully focused on that action. Then that action will become very productive and it'll reward you with tremendous benefits. Now, that doesn't mean you become a very weak person. Whatever you have created, factually you have only created that, no? If somebody else comes and takes the credit, of course you should fight for it. That's exactly the message of Bhagavad Gita. When the Kauravas came and took away all the wealth of the Pandavas, what belonged to them rightfully, Yudhishthira was saying, okay, let them take. That is weakness. What belongs to you, why should you leave it? See, there you should not apply that principle of saying everything belongs to God and all that. That discipline is given to remove the ego. But here functionally, for example, let's say you write a poem. Now somebody else copies that and he puts his name. Now and takes away the credit. Now what should you do? Of course you should not leave it. This is called aggressive goodness. So spirituality is not about being passive. So have no value for recognition. You don't need to have any extra value for recognition. But if you have done something, why should you shy away from that? Some people do that, when they don't want to take the credit. So, like supposing they have done something and they are told, "Oh, you've done this wonderful work." No, I didn't do anything. They say, factually you've only done. You had a part to play. When the ego rises, when you become egoistic about it, then the yogis say, no, without the help of others you wouldn't have done. Without the grace of the higher you couldn't have done. So that is to remove that extra value. So you are mixing up these two things. This is a very, very good question even for others who asked the same question in different way. And to all the sadhaks, remember this. Spirituality is about being good and also about being aggressive. Aggressive here doesn't mean violent. Aggressive means, you also live, you allow others to live. It's not that you become like a doormat and allow others to dominate you. That is not spirituality. And then you use this philosophy to justify your weakness. This is what life is. I'm seeing God in the other person. Every day he's coming and slapping you. I'm seeing God in the other person. That is not spirituality. Self-defense, this is called self-defense. Even in martial arts, the first thing they teach you is always avoid a fight. All the techniques are being taught to you, but they say never use it. Only use it for self-defense. So in spirituality, we believe in self-defense, not offense. So if you go and if you try to take the credit of others' work, that is wrong. But you are doing something, and for you to get the rewards for that, what is wrong with that? If somebody else is coming and stealing away all your efforts, now it is your right to protect yourself. I always say, that combination is what is spirituality. That combination is ancient wisdom. You need to learn to speak up for yourself, speak up for your rights. Nobody else will do that. You need to learn to protect yourself. Oh, my partner is not respecting me. First of all, are you respecting yourself? That is the question. Are you having that self-respect and self-esteem? If you have that, then automatically the partner also will start respecting you. If he or she does not, then you will know how to deal with that. You will give that message. So remember, all these practices, sadhanas are being given to make you very strong, to remove all your stress and to become very productive and achieve things in life. Not to make you weak. And then you justify the passivity, the weakness with some philosophy or other. That's what Yogishri was doing in the Mahabharata. He said, whatever elders say, we need to listen. He is referring to Dhritarashtra. So let us go to the forest. He asked us to go to the forest. He asked us. Now then Krishna came and said, no, it's not that. You have certain duties as a king, as a husband, as the eldest brother. You're not doing those duties properly. You're just justifying your weakness by saying, bringing in some principle out of context and saying, I have to follow the elders, something or other you're saying. Very interesting. The Pandavas were actually good people, but they had no clarity. It is only when they got associated with Lord Krishna that their life became very fulfilled. It's the same thing. Everyone has wonderful talents and all that, but only when you get associated with the ancient wisdom that your real powers start manifesting. So in all the Puranas, you always find the good versus evil, the wars and all that. Even in the Ramayana, Rama went all the way to fight Ravana. One is to rescue Sita. From thousands of kilometers he traveled. That was his love for his wife. Actually, it's said in the Ramayana that when Sita was taken away, he took a bow and said, without Sita, how can I live? I will destroy the whole world. It was Lakshmana who usually, who used to get angry. He calmed Rama down and said, no, we need to focus on defeating Ravana. So why have they portrayed Rama like that? Why have they portrayed Krishna? What was Krishna's role in the world war? He had no personal reason. Yet, why all this? Because that is the lack of passivity, the aggressive goodness. So in life, you should not desire others' wealth, what belongs to others. But at the same time, you don't need to give up what belongs to you also. Okay, so I think I've made it very clear. Don't mix up these principles and become very weak. Whether it's in the corporate, you mentioned corporate world, but this rule is applicable everywhere. Even in family, it is applicable. Okay, so you think about this, you ask me more clarifications if you want, we'll see. So now we'll do the meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions, beyond my thoughts, lies my true essential self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to overcome my impulsive nature and increase the clarity element within me. I choose to like and enjoy everything which I do in life. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So it was a very powerful session today. Powerful principles for self-development, for inner growth have been given to you. So what you need to do is reflect and then start practicing. When you reflect, you will understand something deeply. And then when you practice, you will start living that. The nididhyasana will help you in this process. The nididhyasana meditation which we are doing. Because all these principles, the energy of these principles are being installed in the deeper layers of your mind. So after this, when you reflect and when you try to practice, it will be very easy for you. It's a great help for the sadhaks to do it all alone is not impossible, but it's very difficult. Okay, so we'll continue with this in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.